Today we're talking about the power of intention, and I love the song "The Climb." It's really about the journey of life. You know, we're moving here and there, doing this and that, and some days it feels really hard, and some days things flow a little bit easier, but whatever's happening is happening. And today the talk is about the power of intention, because it is our thinking, our attitude that brings about the life that we're living and the way that we're journeying along. And so if we set intentions, we begin to flow more in alignment with where we want to be when those intentions are positive and productive. So I remember many years ago when I was first studying for ministry, you know, going back into the 90s. It was a while ago for sure. And my teacher said to me, "No one will hire you out of school." And I was like, yeah, well, then I'll start a church in Toronto, or I'll start a spiritual center in Toronto. And she said, "Well, you'll have to, because nobody will hire you." Well, I proved her wrong, because somebody did hire me. I first started in Vernon, BC, but then a year and a half after starting there, I moved to Toronto. I moved here with 40 bucks and a dream, but the dream was clear. I had a very clear intention right from day one of ministerial training to 7 years later when I finally came to Toronto. The intention was very, very clear. I'm coming here to start a Center for Spiritual Living and provide the science of mind teaching to anyone who chooses to want to learn it. And that was my dream. The intention was clear, it never wavered. I knew all through my ministerial training, which took 5 years, and then the 2 years from when I graduated till when I finally moved here, all of it was clear and concise. This is where I was going, and this is what I was doing. When we set an intention, it's interesting how things line up. Now, they don't always line up in the moment that we set the intention, but by setting an intention and clearing, it's like we clear the pathway. We make space for us to move forward and begin to create the life that we've been dreaming about. For me, it's always been this teaching. It's always been about the science mind. There's something about realizing how powerful we truly are that makes me get out of bed in the morning. My great desire is that each person discover how powerful, creative, and remarkable you truly are. When we come to understand that we are one with the Creator, not separate from, not different than, we cannot be separated from, because it is the only thing that exists. And because it's the only thing that exists and we have existence, we must be one with it. So a little bit like fish in water, we live, move, and have our being within this creative life force. So what does it mean about setting intentions, and where does that take us? When we can get really clear about what we want, where we want to go, how we want to do it, and we will sit back and get just a really nice, clear picture of that, what happens is doors begin to open. Now, it might take a moment, may not happen the first day, right? We get a little impatient, don't we? It's like I have a dream and, oh, it's been 12 hours. It's not manifest. Oh, well, let me move on to something else. I remember hearing people often say, well, it must not be God's will. And I want to check you on that. Because the truth is, if there's one power in the universe, infinite, creative, and intelligent, everywhere present equally, that means it's right here where you are, being you. Not separate from, not different than, not added to, but being you. The cells of your body, the activity of your mind, all of it is this one universal substance and source. So knowing that, when we begin to think, the things that we think about actually are the things that are moving the energy of life into form. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by our thinking. You know, I've got a little wristband here that, you know, says, change your thinking, change your life. That seems kind of simplistic, doesn't it? Have you ever had to try to change your thinking? You ever wake up and have one of those days and go, oh, if I could just think a little different, maybe I could be a little happier? You ever wondered where your misery comes from? Where the suffering comes from? Have you thought about it? It's fascinating, actually, because it's really clearly simply our thinking. I know. How could that be? Well, here's the thing. So an event occurs, and I'll be talking to my brother this Friday on my show about something that happened to him. And what's interesting is when I talked to him a couple of days later after this event that was quite terrifying for him, the inspiration that he had was running around in his mind. What if, what if, what if? Have you ever done that? Have you ever had sort of a negative thing happen and then you blow it up a little bit? Like maybe you survived it and then you're thinking about it and you're thinking about it and you're thinking about it and you're thinking about how bad it could have got, or what if this had happened, or what if that had happened. Have you ever done the what if? I know I have. What's interesting about what if is what if puts us in a spiral. It puts us into a spin. And what we're doing is we're taking an event that occurred and we're now spinning it in a way that makes it even worse than the original experience. And we're afraid that somehow that worse than could have happened, maybe, possibly it. You get where I'm going with this? It is our mind. It is our mind acting like a little hamster on a wheel, running, 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 and getting nowhere fast. Why? Because the attention is spent on the what ifs, the things that never occurred. But what if we set an intention for what we truly desire? I mean, think about what makes you laugh and sing, what makes you happy. Think about what, gets you out of bed in the morning and gets you all excited about life. Think about the things that really matter the most to you. And imagine if you could focus your attention on realizing all of the good that is available. What might happen then? So we set an intention. So when I decided that I was going to, at some point in time, move to Toronto from Calgary, the intention, I'll start a center here. I'll start a center in Toronto. So when I came here, I had $40 in my jeans, 220s to be exact, 2 suitcases of summer clothes, my laptop, and a big dream. One-way ticket to Hamilton. And I know you've heard that story. But here's the thing about intention. Intention has infinite power. See, when we set a clear intention and stick with it, the universe only ever says yes. So when I have a clear intention, the universe says yes. Now, when I set that intention to come here, I ended up going to Vernon, BC first. And now that, in that moment, I could have gone, oh, well, I guess, Toronto's not in the cards for me. But no, I went to Vernon, spent a year and a half there, and realized that that was the perfect place for me to be so I could learn what it means to actually do this work. We go to school and we think we know everything we need to know about the career that we're being trained for. But the truth is that until we actually start working in the field, there's probably a whole pile more learning that needs to be done. That happened to me when I went into real estate, wrote all the exams, took all the courses, then got into the business and went, they didn't teach us any of this stuff. They taught us all the rules, the regulations, the laws, but nobody taught us how to market ourselves or how to create a business out of it. That was left up to us. And so it is with ministry as well, and any area of your life. So I invite you to really think about the dreams that you have. And if you could take that dream and just sort of lay it out in front of you, like maybe grab a notepad and sit back and write out what that dream looks like. What is it that you really, really desire? And then I want you to, as you write that out, when you write out that initial intention, like me coming, I'm going to Toronto to start a spiritual center. That was my intention. Took 7 years to manifest, but manifest it did. You see, everything happens along timelines. And sometimes our ego gets in the way a little bit and decides that our timeline should be sped up a bit, or maybe the universe should provide everything in a detailed way according to our current perspectives. And that would make us very happy. But what if there's something bigger going on that we cannot yet see, touch, or feel? What if there's something going on that is calling us to a greater vision or potential for our lives? And are we ready to step into that? Einstein said, if at first the idea is not absurd, there's no hope for it. So what are the big ideas that you've had that you sat back and went, well, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have the right education, I'm in the wrong place, I don't have enough money? What are the big dreams that you've put on hold, that you've set aside going, maybe later? What are those big dreams that you've been imagining, but thinking that maybe they're out of your reach? You see, working these big dreams, sometimes we get caught up with one question: how am I going to do it? Have you ever asked yourself that? You had a big dream and then you went, but how am I going to do that? I don't know how to do that. Well, the key is, if you knew how to do it, you probably would have already done it. The joy of a big vision is it's yet to be created. And what we want to do is set an intention. And that intention is, here's what my dream looks like. Here's what I imagine it will be like. And we give it flavor, and we give it color, and we give it passion and excitement. We give it a sense of possibility. And in our mind, we start to think about, what would it look like? What would it feel like? Who would be involved in it? Where would it take me? What would the results be? And we start to work on that intention. And then we don't get rid of it. We maybe write it out. I wrote it out in a journal. Write it out, look at it, read it, and watch what happens. Here's the thing, is everything lines up. See, the universe has said yes. When we came into this life experience, we each came in with a little something, something that was unique to us. And that thing that we came in with is the very thing we're here to bring into full expression during this life, however long it is. So what is it that you get up in the morning for? What is it that you're passionate about? What's the thing that really just gets you totally sitting forward and excited to talk about? What is that thing that's been pushing or pulling you to step into a bigger possibility for your life? Could be something minor, could be something huge. But when we set an intention, and an intention can be for anything, maybe we have a meeting coming up with somebody in a day or two, and we're not quite sure how it's going to go. Well, what we could do is imagine it ahead of time. See ourselves in conversation with this individual. See ourselves, having that chat and talking about, here's what it's going to be like, and the ideas are going to be received well, and there's going to be great collaboration and camaraderie. We create an energy, and we imagine it first in our mind. And as we imagine that, we begin to speak it into manifestation. We begin to talk about it like it's our real thing, like it's what we're doing. Now, intention can be used for a lot of things. I've had some interesting experiences where people have come to me going, oh, my boss is the worst. I'm going to have to quit my job because my boss is terrible. I can't stand working with him. So we set intentions, not for the boss to go away, but we set an intention for the person who's got the challenge to begin to focus on the energy and vibration of love. Now, love is not an emotion in this case. It is the energy of life itself. And so as we focus on blessing the person in front of us that maybe we're having a difficulty with, every time we think of that person, we just bathe them in love. Every time they enter our mind, we think of them in loving ways. We wish them every possible benefit in the world. So one of the clients who came to me, and I suggested that she love her boss, and she said, yeah, ain't gonna happen. And I said, just in your mind, you know, when you think about your boss, just bless him in every way. Imagine him having the best job and the best employees, and just everything in his life is flowing easy and beautiful. I don't think she was real excited about the assignment, but did it, and came back to me a week later and said, my boss was transferred out of the city, out of the department, to another place, got a big promotion, and guess what? I have a new boss. Love is a powerful force. Intention is a powerful force. And when we combine the idea of love and intention together, we create an energy that is truly unstoppable. I invite you to think about the areas of your life that are going well, and think about the areas where you might be struggling a bit. And just know that there is within you everything you need to manage all of it and to do it with grace. Imagine for a moment that your biggest dream is a here and now reality. That's the way you write your intention. Whether it's applying for a new job, purchasing a new home, getting married, having a baby, doesn't matter what's going on in life. Life is an expression, an experience. And we're journeying along, and there's no destination. There's only the here and now. So what are we doing here and now? What do we bring to this moment? And can we close down the mind chatter enough to focus on what we truly desire rather than that which we would rather not experience? I know it's the opposite to what we do. Something bad happens, we focus on the bad. Something difficult in our lives, we focus on, this is so bad, this is so hard, this is so difficult, I just want it to go away. And oh, darn, it stays. If we want something different, we must think something different. We have to focus our attention in a way that is positive, productive, and know that it is possible. Everything is possible within this divine presence. So I want to take you into a meditation, and I invite you to just whatever's in your hands or any writing you've been doing, just set it aside. And what I want to do is just allow you to try a little something, something, and it might be helpful. So join with me in consciousness as we go into this meditation. Taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just relaxing your body and quieting your mind. Another deep breath in, relaxing just a little bit further. And one more deep breath. And in this place of relaxation, I want you to imagine that you're walking into a movie theater. And you're taking a seat kind of in the center of the theater. There's nobody else there. It's just you. It's quiet. And the lights go down. And the screen in front of you comes to life. So I invite you to project onto that screen your grandest desire, your biggest vision for your life. And I want you to imagine it in full detail. Where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, how it feels, noises, sounds, smells. Bring your dream to life on this screen that's right in front of you. As you create this movie of your great dream, fill it with as much detail and color and sound as you can possibly come up with. And don't think about how it's going to happen. How is not your job. Your job is to have a clear vision for your life. And once you get that really clear sense, you see it vividly in front of you. Accept it as yours, unique to you. And hold it close. And as it begins to grow, expand. As it begins to take form, then you can start to share it with those who can say, yes, I believe in you. Always sharing our intention with those who can support us and say yes. See yourself surrounded by people who love you and appreciate you and want to see you succeed. Visualize that dream completely manifest. When you have a really clear sense of it, allow the screen to go dark, the words, the end, to show up, and the house lights begin to come on. And I invite you to just relax into this music as you begin to bring your awareness back to this time and space, back to this moment.